Now, these conditions don't just offend the eyes, they breed diseases, put lives at risk, and stretch our health system. So today we ask, was the closure a one-off action, or the beginning of a serious sanitation crackdown? What is the true state of hygiene here in Kumasi? And that is why we have with us the head of the environmental unit, that's the environmental health unit at KMA, Mr. Kweku Poku. He is right here with us in the studios of Love 99.5. It's the beginning of a new year, 2026. 2026 is only 27 days old. We need to stay healthy. We need to eat right. I was inviting him off air to join us on Saturday for the Love FM Fitness Walk. And he says to me, "Oh, David, I've heard about the Love FM Fitness Walk, and indeed, myself and my team will be walking." Then I asked him, "What do you do to stay healthy?" The things he said are beautiful. Kweku, good morning.
Good morning, Dave.
And how are you doing?
I'm doing well. And you?
I'm well, thanks for asking. So I was asking you off air, what do you do to stay healthy? Yeah. You mentioned 3 things. One.
Yeah, I indicated that especially during the weekends, I love to rest a lot.
You put it the way you put it. You say you sleep well.
Sure.
And I say you are lucky to be able to sleep well. Many people are not able to sleep well. So you say on weekends especially, you sleep well. That's one of the things you do to stay healthy.
Exactly.
And then you mentioned the second one.
And the second one also has to do with the fact that, especially when I'm in the office, I try to walk around.
He says he walks around.
I walk through town to actually see what is happening. So that's also one way of keeping healthy.
And of course, you said you're going to join us on Saturday.
Exactly. I'll make sure I bring my team along to come and support and then propagate the message that it is important for us to walk to stay healthy.
But the other one you mentioned had to do with what you eat.
Yeah.
You say you eat well. So it is something that fuses into what we're about to talk about.
Yeah.
Where we're eating from, whether the place is conducive and hygienic enough for us to buy from and to eat from. But let's begin by you telling us. So, last week we know that the mayor ordered the closure of this Alpha and Omega chop bar for, unsanitary conditions. What specific violations were found? And under what health regulations was the closure enforced?
Yeah, Dave, thanks so much. And before I zoom into the topic and the discussion, let me say a very good morning to the mayor, my coordinating director, and then the staff of the assembly for the effort that they are putting in to make sure that at least Kumasi works the way we all expect it to work. Yes.
Is Kumasi working?
We are trying our best to make sure it works.
Including health, hygienic conditions?
We are doing our best.
Is the best enough?
So, it's a collective responsibility. The assembly will do our part, but we also expect the general public that we are serving to also help us to deliver on whatever services we want to.
So back to the earlier question, what conditions made that chop bar be closed?
Yes, let me start by saying that the mayor, when he assumed office as the leader of the assembly, the political head, he is one person that doesn't want to stay in the office. He always wants to be on the ground, to be abreast with the issues, so that when he comes back to the office, when we are taking decisions, he knows exactly what we have to do. So it is on such visits that he went to. Apparently, they went on a visit at, I think, the Bekwai road that is being constructed. But then there was a report of a choke drain around the said area. And so after their visit, he went with the team. The team is made up of engineers. Apparently, my officer, my deputy, was among the team. The PRO and other technical officers went to the site to, as it were, find out what has led to the blockage of the drain, and apparently having spillovers onto the road. So it was at that point that they entered the chop bar, the said chop bar, and then realized that there were some conditions that were prevailing that it's not good for our health. And so the mayor ordered for the closure of that facility. So basically, they went there to inspect the drain, and then they had to enter.
But Mr. Poku, indulge me. We have a lot of health, people at KMA, environmental health people at KMA. and also at the various, assemblies, are cutting across. Are you saying that, but for the mayor getting information about this choke drain, would he have known the conditions under which Alpha and Omega was selling to the public?
Let me say that that drain, that choke drain, has persisted for a while. The reason being that there has been effort to desilt that drain to ensure that there is free flow. And so when that is done, because that area where the blockage is slopey, when it rains, the place gets choked again. So it's not as if effort have not been made to, as it were, desilt the drains. But then this time around, it was realized that it's becoming so too much. So the affected traders ultimately had to come back for us to.
Is it again to say that we cannot fix the problem permanently?
We can. So I've personally visited the site, and I realized that even when we desilt and we don't take measures to make sure that the solid aspect of the refuse is not taken care of, eventually we'll be having these blockages. Let me indicate that our attitude towards sanitation has actually led to some of these problems. But drains are basically constructed to take storm water and then wastewater. But apparently, people dump anywhere, people decide to litter anywhere, and so when it rains, everything washes into the drain. So what we have decided to do, together with the traders that sell along that stretch, is that we would make sure that there's free flow, and then we would fabricate some form of welded mesh and then place it at certain points so that whenever there is refuse, it will not get to where it will probably block for the free flow of.
So what you're saying to us is that the Choba was closed as a result of this drain. True or false?
No.
So that was why I asked earlier, why was the Choba closed?
So
what other sanitary conditions did you see that led to this?
Yes, the information I had was that there was a toilet facility behind the Choba, and then also the eating area had some cobwebs. The place was not very.
And in fact, the toilet facility was operating with a fake document, we were told in the story. But the question I ask is this. That's what I asked earlier. So are you saying that the operation of just Choba, with the cobwebs and all the unsanitary conditions there, had the mayor not gone there, we wouldn't have known that they were working or selling under those conditions for it to be closed down, for them to do the right thing? We wouldn't have known?
No, we would have known. But the point is that, you see, it doesn't have to appear as though, like you indicated, we have a lot of officers in the system that we are not working. Yeah, there may be occasions where some of these things may go unnoticed.
Why?
Because one, you say we are a lot. We are not a lot, as you indicated.
No, I didn't say a lot. I say we have a lot of assemblies where people sell. We'll talk about logistics and manpower along the line. So it's been closed down.
Exactly.
What will it take for them to operate again?
To put the place in order. And currently, we are making sure that whatever infractions we identify, they correct them before we allow them to operate.
You can join our live feed on YouTube. We're showing you visuals as to what it is we're talking about. Maybe you've heard a story, but you haven't had time to see it for yourself. If you join us on YouTube, if you join us on Facebook, you get to see it for yourself. And then drop comments there as well, and then share for others to also get to know what is happening. For me, when I heard the decision by the mayor, it came to me as an exciting relief. But generally, what are the most common sanitation violations you are finding across Kumasi, from food vendors, from restaurant operators, and of course the markets? What are the general, insanitary conditions that you're finding?
So, basically, you would see that the way they dispose of their refuse is not acceptable.
In terms of who? The vendors or the market traders or who?
I'm looking at the food vendors, the food vending joints. Exactly. The general sanitation condition is not good. Sometimes you see that, as I indicated, you see cobwebs around where the eating area, the way they have arranged their items.
So let me take them one after the other. We asked this gentleman Leo last year to hit the ground for us. Leo, where did you go to? Where you saw people frying chicken, frying fish, cooking rice to come sell them on the market. Did you find that they had running water where they will fetch and then cook with? What was the sanitation situation there? Where did you go to? What did you see?
Okay, so I went to, when you are descending KTI on the rails, and then you take your right into the rails, behind where they sell wood and all of those things, on both sides of the rail. And I found that a lot of the food that we see the women carrying across town, those are the places where these food are being cooked
or prepared from.
So I saw one particular place where there was a well, and usually they don't have access to
running
pipe
water
and all of those things, so they do makeshift wells here and there, or sometimes they pipe it from somewhere, I don't know. But there was this well that there was a gutter by it, and it was filled with a lot of impurities, bubbling with with bubbles and everything, and it was seeping into the well. You could just see, I brought the videos here.
Including human excreta.
Yeah, everything was just seeping into the well.
While he's talking about, Mr. Poku, are you aware of the place?
I'm not quite familiar with that place, though. Yeah.
So, is it to suggest that
if we have those,
are they operating on the blind side of the assembly?
For me personally, that's why I indicated I'm not quite familiar with it, but I want to believe that some of our officers are very familiar with.
So how come they're still operating in that same?
Let me show him the place proper.
Yeah. Okay.
You know what? There is this big gutter after KTI.
Yes.
Where that big gutter is.
Yes.
Right after that big gutter, you see some people selling metal, scrap metal and stuff, by the roadside.
They call it condemn.
After the gutter. So when you enter that condemn area and you go in, just after where the condemned people are, the rest of the place, there is food being prepared everywhere.
Yeah, and like you said, they prepared there and they bring it to the public to buy it.
So at that point, we share boundary with Asokore Mampo. Usually, things that happens there, everybody knows KMA, so definitely they will say that it is for KMA. So for me, I know that we share boundary just after that big drain with Asokore Mampo on the right.
So you say it doesn't fall.
So on the right is Asokore Mampo.
Yes. Just
what about the left?
The left is KMA.
Okay, so that's the left is where I went.
The left is where you went.
Yeah.
Okay.
So what action are you going to take? Because I even want to know from you, before we even talk about what works you did last year in terms of inspection and closure of eateries where people were not, complying to the hygienic conditions. I want to know from you, if somebody says I'm preparing food, what are the procedures the person ought to go through before the person says Manuediane Meiton?
So the procedure is that first of all, we need to guarantee your health status.
So we need to check the person's health status.
Exactly.
Are you saying that all the people who are cooking and selling out there, they have certificates to show or to prove that their health status is known?
I wouldn't say all, but I know for sure that majority know that, because the food vendors themselves are aware that annually we screen them. As we speak right now, we are about to begin this year's exercise, and most of them are calling us asking when we are.
Okay, so
about the screening. You remember the videos I brought about where they were doing the mill, the corn mill, and I captured all of.
Joel, if you can get that video for us and then prompt us so that Mr. Place sees it.
Was filthy, very, very, very filthy. The gutters around the place, all the things that were just splashing everywhere. It was just plain filth. When I asked them, is the KMA or the authorities aware of the activities that they do here? What they told me was, I won't be screening, which means they are in contact with health officials at KMA.
So they should be aware of the conditions and the food
Exactly.
they are
So
putting.
after the screening and all of those things,
So no, so like
what's
I said,
next?
let's take step by step.
So let's take it step by step.
So the first thing is to do what? To screen them, to know their health status.
Exactly.
And you're saying that you cannot say all of them who are selling food out there have been tested, but at least you say the majority have been.
Exactly.
Do you have data of how many people are selling out there and how many people have been tested or screened? Do you have data?
We have data.
You have it here?
No, I don't have it here offhand.
But you have data.
Exactly.
As how many people are selling or vending out there,
Exactly.
and how many have been screened.
Exactly.
I'll come to you for that data maybe later today.
Sure.
Number 2, what else?
Number 2, then we ask where you are going to
Prepare the
prepare
food.
the food.
And when you're preparing the food, what are the things you're looking out for?
We're looking at for the general environment in terms of sanitation.
Mm-hmm.
Are you selling close by a refuse dump, or are you going to prepare by a refuse dump, a drain?
Yeah.
And then the utensils that you are going to use, the food stuff, how are you going to arrange them? How are you going to manage them? So we look out for all these things.
What about running water?
That is very essential.
So based on what he said and what we all know, Mr. Puku, many of these people who are cooking, they fetch water from somewhere and bring it, or they have dug wells that have other source of filthy water seeping into the ground, getting into the water that they are cooking with. When you speak to some of them, you know what they tell you? Say, and so they, what you just say, noir. James I don't know whether I've heard them say that before.
Generally, that is
what they say.
Not them. That is what we think.
But that's what they say.
Yeah.
But generally, it's wrong. Yeah. So how come people are cooking and selling under such conditions, unhygienic hygienic conditions, and we are allowing it?
And so what I'm saying is that I wanted to indicate to you that last year we visited about 443 eating premises.
Chop bars, restaurants, or what?
Chop bars, restaurants, corn milling.
443.
Exactly.
Out of which number?
Out of about, I think, 600 or
so. We have only 600 chop bars and restaurants in Kumasi.
That is
was under the assembly.
That is what I am saying, that we did about 400. I am not exactly sure of the number, but I know it's about 600 and above. That is what the information I have. So we inspected 443 of them. We identified various issues. We called for the abatement of those issues, to the extent that there were some areas that even we found out that they were having expired product, for which we retrieve all of them. So we are working though, but as you indicated, there are some lapses in the system. Just yesterday, I met all my officers. How many do you have? We have about 83. I met all our quarters to take stock of what we did last year and where the gaps are. And apparently we all agreed that in the area of food monitoring, we didn't perform to the expectation of all of us and today.
All right, so this is the place Leo visited last year.
Yeah.
So check it out.
Yeah.
And I like the look. I like the look on your face. I like the look. You're worried.
Fetch water for the food.
Oh, certainly.
Have you? No. So see the place. Have you seen this place? If
Oh,
you should go there, hold on. If you should go there right now, what action would you take on this place? And listen, and listen, Joe, you can pause the well for us.
Yeah.
Listen, you can join us on Facebook. It's on Love 99.5. Also join us on YouTube and watch us live and appreciate what we're talking about. Food that you can buy, you buy by the side of the road. This could be the place they cook the meal from. If you have children at home who are off to school right now, you give them money to buy food from outside. This is where the food they'll be buying, was cooked from. Mr. Boko, you've seen it.
Yes, I've seen it.
If you should go there right now, what action will you take?
Is to make sure that they stop operations. And as I speak with you right now, this morning, I have detailed all my officers. This morning, we have targeted Adom railways, because we have people cooking around that area. We have targeted Dunkirk area. We have people also vending food. So I've marshaled all of them this morning to, as it were, go there. I was supposed to lead them, but because of this program, I had to come and then after that join them.
Did you ask them to go because we called you first?
No. Okay. But our engagement started. We started discussion over the weekend. We had already planned meeting before that this engagement came in, and so it was something that I had already planned for us to. Because usually at the beginning of the year, I meet all of them. We take stock of what we have done in the previous year, where there are lapses, and what we can do to make sure that.
How often do you go on these inspections? How often do you push your men and women out to go and work?
It's a routine thing.
How often in a month?
They are supposed to go because
On a daily basis?
on a daily basis.
On a daily basis. So
Yeah.
how come they are able to miss some of these things? If they go on a daily basis, how come they miss these things? If they go on a daily basis, how come we're not seeing an improvement?
So it's good that some of these things are coming up. As the head, I cannot be everywhere. That's why I have my men on the ground. And interestingly, one thing that I've also realized is that, as we all see, familiarity beats contempt. When people work in one area for a long time, they relax and they are unable to take the action that they are supposed to come. It might interest you to note, yesterday after the meeting, one of the officers came to me and was saying that, Chief, I want you to move me from where I'm working because I've become so familiar with the people, and so it becomes difficult for me to take certain action. So these are some of the things we are putting to, as it will move them around to make sure that we improve on the service that we are doing, and also make sure that some of these issues are corrected.
Listeners, if you know of any eatery or any place where the conditions there, the hygienic conditions there are compromised, are poor, you can call us and talk about it when we activate the phone lines. But our WhatsApp number is already activated, 0540-448747. Where do you know of where they are selling food that you think is an eyesore that we need to go and tackle and fix the problem? Where do you know in the metropolis where maybe they are cooking food, they don't have running water, and the place is an eyesore that you want Mr. Poku and Co to go and fix the problem? Our WhatsApp number is 0540-448747. That's 0540-448747. In a bit, we'll be activating the phone lines. So these are for places where we call the chop bars and co. So if I go to a place where they don't have a running water, but they have a well, is that acceptable?
You know, we have sometimes people misconstrue well with borehole. There are two differences. We have a well that is dug to a certain water table level, and then we have a borehole. Where people are using borehole, we look at like the hygiene situation
around it.
And so they can make use of the borehole. So if they don't have the Ghana water system flowing to their area, we permit them having water from these sources to be able to use. But generally, we look at the fact that those waters are not contaminated. Yeah.
One other concern has to do with people who have already cooked from one place and have moved the food from one place to another to go and sell, or they are just hawking and selling the food in town. Is that permissible? Somebody one no idea who on any new bar and as a collebi or fan, a collebi almost sometimes fufu, almost by whatever, almost by Kunti, tease that nobody nam crumbs or moton. Miss me to Mr. Arno, a dear Brand Toby. Now, what I mean, how are those supposed to
be exposed
to all the elements?
So the point I also want to make is that, you know, Kumasi is a commercial area, and so are people also coming from the adjoining assemblies moving in, just as the food issue that we are talking. People even cook from other districts or assemblies and bring to.
Once it comes into your jurisdiction, it is your job along with your lieutenants to ensure that what we are consuming is wholesome. Yeah. That's why I'm saying that if somebody cooks from point A and carries it on her head, hawking in town selling, what does the bylaw say?
So as for hawking, there's no law that barred them.
Hawking food, cooked food, I mean.
No.
Hold on. Let me rephrase the question. Have you seen people who have prepared food from, let's say, one place, and they're carrying the food on their head? Sometimes you are crying as a jawum to keep the food warm. No more sodium, no more nam, no more tongue. Have you seen them?
Yes, I have seen it.
Is that permissible?
It's not permissible.
It's not permissible.
Yeah.
Why?
So we have some kinds of food that you can hawk.
Like what?
The pastries, the bread. But you hawking with, sometimes you see people even having some form of coal or something under. Exactly. So it's not permissible.
So why are they selling them? And they've been doing this for years. Why are they doing it?
And so that's why these conversations are coming up, for us to make sure that we streamline the way we handle food in the system to guarantee our safety. So
Wow.
we are putting in place measures to make sure that all of these things are dealt with, to make sure that there's sanity in the system.
You know, the way we allow these things affects our health.
Exactly.
And like the saying goes, what you eat is what you are.
Exactly.
Do you have data? Do you have some information for us as to how many typhoid fevers were recorded, let's say, last year? Do you have cholera figures or food poisoning figures? Because when they are hawking and cooking under these conditions, food poisoning is high,
Yeah.
typhoid is high, cholera, same. Do you have figures?
Yes, but for this program, I can't speak to give you the exact figures. But on cholera, I know that somewhere last year we had some cases, but they were imported. It wasn't from the metropolis. What it means is that the person had the incident from somewhere and then came and fell sick here within Ade. So we didn't record any case of cholera. For typhoid, I know that the numbers are increased, but I can't give you the exact.
It is increasing.
Yeah, the exact figure. So probably in our next engagement, I will get it from health
What
service.
would be your response if people say that when it comes to enforcement, it is laxed? Enforcement is not biting enough. And along the line, you mentioned that it is our attitude. Now, when we are comfortable and used to one particular thing, we are comfortable such that we know that no law will bite, no sanctions will be applied. So we'll do it with impunity and we don't really care a hoot. That is our attitude. For our attitude to change for the better, we will need to have people like you, Environmental Health Unit, KMA, and the other assemblies that have the environmental health, to enforce the bylaws for the safety of the people. If somebody says actually enforcement in Korea, will you agree with that person?
To some extent, because we are doing the enforcement, all right. But just as you indicated, probably we need to step up that action.
Is it probably, or you will step up? And if you will step up,
what will
be different in 2026?
That is how come I've indicated to you that this morning, and it's a one-stop kind of something.
Okay.
I've mentioned to my officers that every week I'll pull up all of them together, and then we'll visit these areas to make sure that the right things
every week,
once every week, not the entire
once every week.
Yes, once every week.
How many times, if you say you're going to go every week, same place every week, different places every week? Because if you come to my place this week,
different places every week.
But if you come to my place this week and you talk to me and I do the right thing, and it will take you another 6 months or another 1 year to come back to me to see whether I'm complying with the directive you give me, I might still go back to my old style of doing things.
So what's going to happen is that for us to have the impact that we are looking at, that's why I've indicated that we are going to go as a team. So it is not a one-stop kind of something. So we will be rotating and definitely we will come back. But then within that space that will come back, the officers are there, because if, for instance, today that we are going, it means next week we would move to another area. But then we'll have officers working within the week.
What exactly are they supposed to be doing? Closing down such eateries or advising them to improve on the situation? What exactly would they be
all
doing?
of that. So there are some conditions that require that we immediately stop you from operating.
Do you have an idea as to how many eateries you closed down last year?
Last year, that I can't give you off it, but I know we did a couple of them. And the issue has to do with the fact that sometimes we don't get the media to carry us along with some of these things. So,
but even if the media doesn't carry it and you have data in your books, that, for example, you can give us. So, for example, we say we're coming to your office and Mr. Kweku Poku says, Mr. Kweku Poku says, so we have about 1,200 places we closed down. These are the areas you can find these places. And then we say, okay, Leo, you take this area. And usually you go to that area. David, you go to this area. And then we go to verify whether indeed you close them and whether the situation is improved. And then we all are at peace. Because if my child is out there going to buy from a vendor and I don't know the kind of water the person cooked with and the kind of ingredients the person cooked with, I am at risk. My child is at risk. I'm going to spend much more money for healthcare. I might even lose the child.
Exactly.
And I can lose friends because maybe the assembly is not doing its best. So what is the plan for this year? I'm happy that you're saying that you have 85 of your staff. You have asked them to go out there. what exactly are they supposed to be doing? You're saying that they're going to close some of them down.
Yes.
They will advise some of them.
Exactly.
And then how do we monitor to see that indeed there's an improvement?
Definitely, we'll go back and see those that will advise for them to put in remedial actions. We'll definitely have to go back and see to it that they are doing the right. If they are not doing, because the law allows us to take them to court. Because the first point is to make sure that you direct the person to do the right thing. When you go back and you meet the same condition, you take the person on for flouting the rules. So definitely, that's what we're going to do.
You can come in, but I wanted to ask whether you have the right personnel in terms of manpower. 85, is it enough? Do you have enough resources? Do you have the needed, things you need to work with?
Yes, in terms of the manpower, I would say that we need extra to top up.
How many do you think you need that would help you do a very, very good job?
If we had to get about 150 of us,
you do a very, very good job.
We'll do our maximum.
Because, we began a series of conversations with the assembly. We're going to end it all with the mayor, maybe somewhere next week or thereabout. So we've spoken to Kotoka from the sanitation department. We've spoken to Mr. Bernard Boating of the physical planning. We've spoken to Randy of the transport. So we're going to end it all with the mayor. So you're saying you need about 150?
Yes. Not 150 in addition to the existing, but then when the 85
you add
to get the 150,
then you'll be okay to
exactly.
work. What about things that will enable you to move vehicles and other things that will help you do a good job?
Yes, in terms of vehicles, we need some mobility equipment. For me, we have 2 pickups, and I'm using one. One is for the complaint. When you see the condition, you would. So we are managing to, but we need vehicles to be able to move around. Motorbike to be able to visit the area that we have to visit.
How many motorbikes do you have right now?
We have 2.
You have 2 motorbikes. How many do you think you need?
If for every sub-metro we get 2 for every sub-metro,
it will help.
It will be okay.
Leo, what's your question, please?
My thing is still on the food, because that one is the ones directly getting into our system. Is there any plans, policy-wise, or are we ever going to experience a time when every vendor, for example, is going to display their food in standardized wares, for example? Because I do know that when you go to the developing, semi-developed countries, one of the things that you realize that they are moving away from the old system is just even how their vendors sell food by the roadside. When you go to Turkey and some of these places, shawarma, burgers, and they are all selling in clean, standardized containers and kiosks and whatever. That is very easily recognizable. Can we, as Ghanaians, or do you have it in your plans to make sure that we start adopting these things? Because I'm in my mind, I think that if we do some of that, then people will not have the free roll to just bring anything by the roadside.
So yes, somewhere last year, I tasked my officers to go around and make sure that those who are vending at stationary areas are properly clothed.
So because you don't have to leave your hair on.
Exactly.
You need to have this cap on.
Exactly.
Have an apron on.
Exactly.
And all that.
Exactly. And they did. I wouldn't say they visited all, but the area that I asked them to do, they did. And some of the vendors even came to the office and thanked me for. I told them that when you are properly dressed, it even attracts customers to you, the way you keep your environment.
That's true.
So to leverage on the question that you asked, yes, there are plans for us to make sure that we get there. But
how soon are we going to roll out those plans?
We are working on them.
In phases?
We are working on them.
In phases?
Not in phases, but as and when we move along, we do what we are supposed to do.
What about? I like the look of his face. What about restaurants? I don't see the restaurant's kitchen that I go to. All I know is the food is served me. On a few occasions where I have been inquisitive, I realize that the oil is so dark. They are cockroaches. They are mice. Mice. I say mice. You say rat. Does it fall under your purview, your work as well?
Yes.
Restaurants.
Yes. We visit all those places. And last year, we took a couple of. That's why you mentioned about the statistic that we took a couple of them on in respect of some of these issues that you are mentioning.
But what baffles me is that it looks as if you speak confidently, as if you're working, you're taking action, they're taking you to court, you're doing this, that, but the situation is not seeing any improvement.
The situation is not seeing any improvement because of the fact that some of these things, like you are saying, we just as the mayor went out and took the action, it came viral, and there are a couple of such issues around. But we are actually working.
But you admit that we're not seeing any improvement. So maybe the strategy, the approach is wrong.
So
maybe we need to look for different approach.
That is why I indicated that. Now, one of the approaches that I have adopted is to make sure that we go in a large group so that we can cover wider area. Because as it stands, the various metros are doing their own thing. But for us to have some kind of impact, I've decided that every week I'll marshal all of my voices for us to target areas that we think there are issues for us to address.
In your office, as the environmental health boss, do you have KPIs? Are you giving KPIs?
Yes, we are giving KPIs.
Can you share some of that? What are your KPIs?
Our KPIs, one, in terms of food vendor screening, we are supposed to ensure that we screen the food vendors. Two, in terms of prosecutions, we have KPIs. In terms of our visit to domiciliary inspections, I mean, when we visit premises, we have KPIs to that effect.
And are you meeting those KPIs?
We to some extent we are meeting them. Yeah.
There's one of the things that is also of concern has to do with education. Not just educating the people who are cooking and selling or vendoring, but educating the general public themselves to be wary of where to eat, where to buy, what to buy, where to buy from, and all that. How well are you doing that regard?
We are doing that. Personally, last year I visited some media houses.
Okay.
To do that education. It is also part of our KPIs to sensitize the general public on some of these issues. The officers also, when they go around, they do that. We have been having some community there best to talk about some of these things. So it's something that
do you go to schools and churches to also engage?
We do all of that. We do all of that.
All right, so listeners, you can join our conversation now on 03220-83596, 03220-83597, and 03220-83598. Hi, good morning.
Hi, Dave. Hi, Dave, can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you, Kofi Bedun. Let's hear you, boss.
Right. Please, have you been able to make a follow-up to the report that I made to you concerning the filling at, the bridge that they are filling at Jachi Junction to Salia on a stretch, the highway? If you have not been able to make a follow-up, please kindly do that for us. When it comes to this sanitation in the KMA or metropolis, I think that we don't have all our gutters being covered. We have a lot of open gutters. All that we've got to do is to make sure that those gutters are clean on daily basis. And also, when you come to the drain, it will be a bit difficult for those around to clean it on daily basis. But it's supposed to be a weekly basis. We have to do it. If it is supposed to be KMA, that's supposed to do it. And then make those around there pay for it. You must do so. And those who have stores, gutters in front of their stores, make sure they are clean. Failure to do that is supposed to attract some, sanctions, some fines and all that, so that they will see as serious as far as the sanitation is concerned. Thank you very much.
Well, thank you, Kofi, and we'll give you a response to your concern by Friday. I can assure you of that. George, good morning.
Good morning, Dave. How are you?
George, we're well in here. Happy New Year.
Same to you, Dave. Dave, eating by the roadside, I tell you, we are eating things, so. I tell you, we are eating things. The other day, I went to buy this konkonte. The woman was just sitting, using her phone. So when I went there, I requested for the food. She just stood up, wiped her hands with her clothes, and then start, making the food for me. He did not rinse her hands, nothing. David, imagine this. And at times too, I went to this woman looking at her. At first, she boiled the meat. When the meat was done, she strained that sauce and put it aside. And then put water for the soup that she is going to sell. So when I asked the guy, he said, this sauce is for their own food in the house. Imagine, she boiled the meat and then strained that sauce and put it aside for her own food. Then he would just put water in the other meat and then put granules and all this. She's preparing, granule soup. So David, eating outside is not easy. Thank you, David.
But George, before you go or you leave us, the woman who was fidgeting with her phone and doing all manner of things, and then just used her hand to clean or wipe her clothing, and then went on to serve you. What did you do?
I told her, and then from that on, I have stopped buying from her.
I hear you, but it is good that you've stopped buying from her. But some of the times we also need to report to the appropriate authorities for action to be taken. 03220-83596, 03220-83597, and 03220-83598. We're talking about the food we're eating outside. The water they use, they don't have running water. The ingredients they use, you and I don't even get to see them, whether they are rotten tomatoes or rotten garden eggs. And once they
they're rotten and they have some plant that day, especially at the mill areas.
There's a message from Leaka. She says that he's applauding Mr. Poku, at least areas where he had to concede.
He concedes, yeah.
And that shows that he's willing to work more. And also he wants him to enforce the law because he knows that Kumasi is a tough place, but just do your best. He's a lawyer, a friend of the show.
Christoph, good morning.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Good morning, David. How are you, sir?
I'm good, Christoph. Good to have you. Let's hear you, sir.
Yes, David, I joined late, but I heard George talk about buying some food and all. David, what I want to say is that, especially in Kumasi, because of the abnormal profit or abnormal profiteering nature of our traders, we should be so careful. Maybe you can buy food, can buy a kind of just you leave the soup there for just 10 to 15 minutes. It is and soon aquafa. Not the police aquafa. It is serious. It is not just expensive, but it's very poor in nature. David, I went to Sanitary to buy something that they fried this plantain, then they put it in a glass, so spicy, and and I wanted to buy some. Then that's when I was packing. I saw that the woman put one of her fingers in her nose, kicking her nose. Jesus, and that was the same hand that she was going to use to remove the plantain from her. So David, I have to grab one. I didn't buy. So we should look at how these things are prepared, and you should be cautious. Maybe eating in the house. Maybe some of us who have cars should be putting some food in our vehicles for at least good time to eat.
All right, Christoph, thanks very much for joining us also. We're grateful to you. Nana, good morning to you, Nana. Welcome, sir.
Good morning.
Yeah, Nana, let's hear you, sir.
I'm listening to the director or the guy who is speaking on the radio concerning the sanitation issues. My concern is all of his men. I can tell you about 90% of them. They go with this motive, just to collect money, not to do their work. I have a lot of experiences. I quite remember about 2-3 weeks ago, one of them came to my restaurant. They said, "Oh, Nana, as for your kitchen, everything is fine. Everything is okay. This time, everything is clean. It is the only problem is that one of your fridge, there's some scratches on the top of the fridge, so you have to do something about it." I say, "Okay, I will work on it." And then later he said, Nana, now you can't be uncle. So, since morning I haven't done anything. So then he started writing someone and give it to me because I didn't have money to give him that time. He started writing summons and give to me to come to their office. Why? Because I refused to pay. I refused to give him money. You understand? So no matter what you do, if you fail to pay, if you fail to give them money, they will send you to court. So this attitude of their workers or his subordinates, that is the reason why whenever you go there, you find this kind of problems.
If you don't mind my asking, what business are you into?
I told you at the restaurant, my restaurant.
Okay, so he operates a restaurant. Okay, all right.
My restaurant. You understand? Just because I refused to give him something, then he started writing summons.
So we're going to take action, and thanks very much for joining our conversation. Ekuya, kindly hold the line for us, Ekuya. George, good morning.
David, I forget one thing. Also, David, the water that they use to wash the dishes and put food. David, I don't know whether it is lack of water or something. I don't know. The water she put there in the morning, that water will never be changed. You see it with this palm oil and everything. They are still washing in the soap, and even the water that they use to rinse the bowl and put the food in for us to eat, David, is uncalled for. So they should check all those things. Thank you, David.
Thank you very much. And George, we've talked about that before. It's an eyesore. Some of the soapy water you see, the sponge they use, sometimes even if it's rice, if you're in so nice, or the saponu, not rice and particles I'm not the kitchen.
But you support it to me, say troka.
Ekia, good morning.
Good morning, Dave.
You're welcome.
I have an issue with for the outside food left to me. Nobody will buy it because I don't eat outside. It's appalling. The food, even when they've cooked it, they also display in such a way that slice alone that would be around the place they're selling the food is so much.
So you know some of them do because of the flies. Then they put on insecticide coil.
The chaff.
The chaff from the palm fruit.
Right here. He told me she can't cover it because it's hot. I said, okay, let's for those who eat, but not me. However, my issue is the mailing places. I don't know if the KMA people can do something. For them to change these mailing places from a wooden structure to maybe a container thing, maybe because those places are normally terrible. For instance, Leo can go to Crowford Market. The milling place there, oh my God. If you pass by and it's beside the gutter, I ask myself, how can you be the people that are milling, I ask myself, are you humans? Those milling things, I think they should make them change the structures to something they can probably clean. That's number one. Number two, I've also noticed that these days, people are baking bread in containers. For instance, around Kumaka, there's a bakery there, but it's baking in a container, and they are doing the bread in some table outside, and the bread is all open and flies is all over. And after baking the bread, they bring it from the oven, they just drop it anywhere, and in the name of cooling it, it's open and flies are all over, after which they will package the bread and bring to us. And now they're even cutting this bread in pragues. You'll be driving and you see prague carrying a bread open. And I ask myself, what's going on?
Ekia, thank you very much. And I think we can fix this if we really want to. You know, some years ago, me a number you do rickety car muna the idea. And I say
yeah.
Okay, maybe hubium. Which means that if we really want to fix this, we will and can fix it. Kwabena, good morning.
Good morning, Uncle Dave.
Let's say Kwabena.
Thank you. Thanks for the good work you are doing for Kumasi. I would want to ask the sanitation officer, what measures do they have for their staff who are caught in taking bribes and also trying to do some of these illegalities or unethical practices? And if there are sanctions, do they have examples to tell us people they have sanctioned in recent past? I think these are measures when they let the public know and they also try to crack the whip. There are people who stay away from these illegalities. I was actually disturbed when I heard the restaurant owner mentioning what somebody wanted to summon him. You know, that's just like what the police do to drivers on the road. When you have done everything right, they try to find something. And if you don't give them money, then you have to go to court or they have to delay you. So they should tell us, or he should tell us, whether they have sanctions for people who involve themselves in these kind of unethical practices. And if they do, what has happened to those who have fallen, who have done these things, and then we should be having examples to let people know that.
All right. All right, Kwabena. We'll hear you, Kwabena. Thank you very much for joining our conversation. We're grateful to you and all of you. We wish we had ample time to pick a few more calls, but we have to go onto our WhatsApp console and also share with you what people are saying from there as well before Mr. Poku also responds to some of the things that have been raised.
Okay, so this one says, David, good morning. If you recall, 3 years ago on your show, I called in the month of January that our leaders are not helping us because every January we experience fire outbreaks in our country. Today we are talking about it next year, same month. You and your crew will still be talking about fires. It's like our leaders don't care finding a lasting solution to our problems. And it also says, can we discount the Assembly's responsibility in keeping fire hydrants in shape? Maybe we can. Okay, let me play this one.
Dave, thank you so much for touching on this issue. It's sad, so sad. But to me, I think everything depends on you, the consumer. As for the person selling, because of money, she can do anything. But you, the person going to buy. Sometimes I see these people carrying food on their head, and everything is on their head. And even the bowl that he's using to serve you, you ask yourself, where did she get water to rinse it? Where the first person ate from it? But you see people buying. So to me, Dave, the onus should lie on you, the consumer. You that you are going to buy food. What are you looking for before you are buying? So as for those selling, if we want to focus attention on them, we are going nowhere. But you, the person going to buy. In fact, it's serious. Sometimes, Dave, show be more repair what they see a diana. Just a wood in China row. Now, what the inside Giscano, now what be in Ayase, a baggy be. This kind of question was a sound we ya no was sad and son of a Tiadiana from now on Jujina one hour GD.
Okay, last message.
But before the last message, but why were you signaling to pause? Is that the truth? Is the truth? The reason why I'm staying from the conversation is that it may take an emotional. It's terrible. It's terrible.
Okay, so this one says, "Hello, David. Good morning." This one is from. So the last message is from Aduchumwa. And this one is
the voice you play from Adumchiwa. Okay.
Have you seen the women are calling more? Have you noticed a trend?
Yeah.
Let me tell you, I don't know if you notice. Have you noticed that most women hardly eat from outside?
Yeah.
A man
women are very picky when it comes to food.
Yes, it's because of this. Because
okay, so this one says, hello, David, good morning from Emmanuel Poku. I would like to bring your attention to an issue of public health concerning regarding the unhygienic conditions under which some food items are prepared and sold, specifically when coming from Adum towards Asafo. At the right turn leading into the Asafo area on the interchange, there's a spot where head porters that usually bathe at the back of a cold store. Yeah,
it's around there.
So this is
board area.
Yeah, Joel, if you can show the video where there was this big gutter, that's where this person is talking about. It says when you are coming, okay. It says in the same area, food, mainly rice, is prepared and sold as takeaway, particularly to passengers at nearby bus terminals. Given the health risk of this poses to the public, I kindly request that the Assembly looks into the matter and takes the necessary steps to address it. Thank you for your attention and support.
Once I was hungry, I got to Grove Room. There was this kinky seller there, so I thought, let me just park the car and buy some. And when I got closer, I realized that she has bleached and all her hands were looking nasty and those things. But people were gathered there. So she spotted me. So when I saw that the hands were so nasty and this day, I pretended as if I had a call. So I said, okay, I'm coming right now. Then the woman spotted, so, oh, Actually, I was caught. I didn't know what to do. I just have to stand and collect the food. When I went and give it to my mechanic to eat. In fact, because I saw it, I couldn't eat.
Someone also says, for 30 years, I have never eaten outside, not even at funerals or social gatherings.
But what about funeral food? Do you want to try that one too?
No, that one is beyond
but that's FDA.
As for funeral food, it's very difficult for you. Someone is organizing
wedding and funeral food. I think that FDA has a role, because I remember a few years ago I interviewed them, and Tel Aviv was then the original boss, and she was cautioning about how we should go about it, especially the salads and all that. Don't worry, we have a conversation with the FDA. We'll be delving into that.
Somebody just talked about crow from
the kinky salad or the meal.
Yeah, you remember the picture I showed you about where we used to buy wachi?
Yeah,
at the traffic light. There is this gutter in front of where there's a lot of food vendors in that small area. They sell wache there. Somebody does kebab. Somebody sells pastries. Somebody sells some dieho there. Some mutu. That small enclave. Now her gutter there ni mohona green. Na air bubble na. I don't understand why that thing has been there for years. And today na kwana chukua yentimi
nyi KMA is under you, right? Because of on top of the course, this Leo thing is coming up, and there's also a Nika, the mailing at Krofro. At the person specifically mentioned the Krofro market, the mailing machine there. So I think that maybe you need to take
I've taken notice of that. Yeah.
There was a question from
the bribery. The bribery. First of all, how do you identify that somebody is trying to extort from somebody, and how do you punish the person?
As for identify, the person is out there supposedly doing that. So it's for you, the individual, to report to us.
The person who the extortion is being done to.
Is to report to us for us to take. Because if you don't report to us, just as he's mentioning, the officer went there and was doing something in the office. How would I be able to get to know that? So, but immediately those things are reported to us, we'll act on it.
What action do you take?
The action will be you being cautioned when they persist. The service has some service standards, so we'll apply the standards. What the standard says for you to.
The people who are selling out there, the vendors and all that, do you give them a code, a guideline? Do you print something out for them?
Yes, at the back of the food vendor certificates that we issue out, we have some standards that we want you to observe. So when you are successful,
so do you add that if somebody tries to extort from you, report to this number or come to the office? Do you give them a leeway as to what they can do if they are found in some kind of quagmire and confused as to what to do?
Yes, we have the client service unit at.
How many people know that? That's what I'm saying. That so, for example, you're giving the person the guidelines or the conduct. You can say if somebody does so call this number, report to this number, like something that will encourage them to act.
For the certificate, we don't have anything of that sort here.
Introduce that.
Yeah. So
when you introduce that, I'm sure people will call you and give a lot of information.
Exactly.
Leo, do we have some more?
Yeah.
All right.
Good morning. Leo's question is very brilliant, and it is the best for me for the day concerning getting them tagged in a proper place. My question is that why can't the KMA and the municipal authorities give tags or aprons with the inscription, let's say, approved vendor or approved for sale, approved to sell, so that the sellers will be wearing it whilst they are doing their businesses. Now, this tag will be putting a lot of responsibilities on them for them to prepare their food well and also have a sanitized environment. It also boosts their confidence so that they can be doing proper business. Then from time to time, these municipal authorities will be calling these people and be educating them on proper ways of cooking. And some of this food, it will have so much salt. Some of them are using this account. Some of them, they will be using the same water to be washing the vegetables and a whole lot of things. So from regular times, you call them and you organize programs for them to educate them so that the public health issues will be reduced. And in that case, we will be helping the whole country and our health system will be developed. Thank you.
I want to find out those that are selling pure water, bottled water, that they put it in a hot sun, of which my little knowledge meaning say when you put even water in a bottle and put it somewhere and go and drink, automatically you get a cancer. So those that are selling the water, that are exposing the water under this danger, what are we doing to them? What are those that have let me put it say like Belacqua, Vena, Awake? What steps are they taking to ensure that this thing is being stopped or something?
Well, we hear you. What's your response, Mr. Poku, to what he's saying? The sale of water, and he talks about cancer. I need to read about it.
Yes. So what?
But I know that the way they keep the water, and FDA has. Ghana, Mr.
There's
Poku,
the last one.
Mr. Poku, let me hear you, please.
What we advised those who sell the sachet water is that when you bring it out to sell and you're unable to
finish selling,
you don't go and
into the tungu. What's on tungu?
Exactly.
Mr. Poku, Mr. Poku,
and I make sure I say what we tell them is that, because you see the point is that we're chilling at the end and what the other 19 and so we are all faced with all of this challenge, especially when we are talking about this food. Hey, we wabeton answer okufi. What happens to it? And we are not there. We are not there to check whether they are bringing. So the point I'm trying to make is that yes, as consumers, we also have responsibility to make sure that whatever we take is also.
Mr. Kokupoku, thank you very much. He is head of the.
So before we leave, since we are talking about food, there's this thing that I want to put across. The Assembly is running a project currently where we want to ban the open display of salt on food established the tables of.
Oh, okay. So somebody I chop by a restaurant, if you have salt on the table or displayed,
exactly,
there's a ban on it.
We have a resolution has been passed. Okay. This is geared towards reducing the incidence of hypertension, since it's a predisposing factor to this thing. And so going forward, we'll be doing. In fact, the resolution has been passed. The Assembly has passed the resolution. We are drafting.
Is it a Kumasi thing?
It's a Kumasi.
Or it's a national thing?
It's a Kumasi thing.
Okay.
So we have partnered with a partnership for healthy cities. Okay. A network of about 70 cities for which Kumasi is part. Okay. And so it's a Kumasi thing that we are doing to ensure that the incidence of
if somebody flouts it, what will happen?
And so that's why I'm saying that we are now drafting the resolution, so it will come with its own sanctions. But when it is complete,
what if somebody requests for extra salt? So we go view our pizza crop, for we are saying that we don't want to, because if it's not there, and then we also in our quest to implement this, we'll make sure that there are advisory signs at these eating joints to make sure that we don't openly display salt. So it's part of our effort to make sure that the consumption of salt is reduced.
Mr. Kokupoku, thank you very much for your time. He is head of the Environmental Health Unit at KMA. He joined us for a conversation. We're very grateful to you. I've learned a lot of things, I never knew that hawking food was prohibited. And also what you're talking about in terms of banning the salt display on tables in restaurants and chobas. Thanks very much. We'll be doing more of this, this year, because we want people to stay healthy. And don't forget, I'll be seeing you on Saturday during the Love FM Fitness Walk as well. On the Super Morning Show, the conversation is all about fertility for men and women.
So they are talking about prostate right now.
So it's something that can affect men. So men health, fertility. Let's join the feed now.